Imagine this. You wake up on a spaceship orbiting the sun. A strange voice tells you that you've been selected for the ultimate survival challenge, lasting just 1 minute on every planet in our solar system. No spacesuit, no oxygen, no protective gear, just your body, as it is right now, dropped into environments so extreme that they make Earth look like paradise. Your mission? See how long you could last and what exactly would happen to you, second by second. From the blistering heat of Mercury to the crushing storms of Jupiter, each planet presents a new and horrifying test. Could your lungs survive the thick, poisonous clouds of Venus? Could your body withstand the violent winds of Neptune? Would you even realize what killed you before the minute was up? Or would you black out in seconds, never knowing how it ended? This isn't just science fiction, it's science fact, based on NASA research, planetary data, and the laws of physics and biology. What you're about to hear isn't sugar-coated. It's brutal, it's real, and it will make you appreciate our fragile blue planet like never before. So buckle up, space traveler. The countdown is about to begin. We're dropping you into the harshest environments in the universe, and your 1-minute survival test starts now. Mercury Venus. Your first stop is Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun. At first glance, you might think it's survivable. After all, Mercury has no thick clouds, no raging storms, and no crushing atmosphere like the gas giants. But that lack of atmosphere is exactly what makes it deadly. The moment you set foot on the rocky surface, your body is exposed directly to the sun's unfiltered radiation. In the daytime, surface temperatures can soar to a scorching 800 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. Standing there would feel like stepping into an oven where your skin starts to burn instantly. Within seconds, sweat would evaporate, leaving your body dehydrated. Your eyes would dry out, your lungs would gasp for oxygen that simply isn't there, and your blood would begin to lose pressure. You might stay conscious for about 15 to 20 seconds, but no longer. Even if you were on the night side of Mercury, where temperatures plunge to minus 330 degrees Fahrenheit, the vacuum would suffocate you before the cold had time to freeze you. Surviving a full minute here? Impossible. Now, if you thought Mercury was bad, Venus is an entirely different nightmare. Imagine being dropped into a pressure cooker turned up to maximum. Venus is often called Earth's twin because it's roughly the same size, but that's where the similarities end. Its atmosphere is thick with carbon dioxide and cloaked in sulfuric acid clouds. The surface pressure is 92 times greater than Earth's. That's like having an entire ocean pressing down on your chest while you try to breathe. The temperature? Around 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than the inside of a pizza oven. If you somehow managed to take a breath, your lungs would collapse instantly under the crushing weight. Your skin would begin to burn, not just from the heat, but also from the acid particles in the air. Even metals like lead melt on Venus, so your flesh wouldn't stand a chance. Within just 2 to 3 seconds, you'd be unconscious. By the 10-second mark, your body would be nothing more than a sizzling, collapsing mess. A full minute? Absolutely unthinkable. Together, Mercury and Venus deliver a brutal introduction to the reality of surviving beyond Earth. On Mercury, you're roasted or frozen in a vacuum. On Venus, you're crushed, boiled, and poisoned all at once. 2 planets down, and already the odds of lasting even 60 seconds have proven to be astronomically slim. And the challenge has only just begun. Earth-Mars. After enduring the fiery extremes of Mercury and the crushing hellscape of Venus, stepping onto Earth feels like paradise. Here, 1 minute is effortless. You can breathe, walk, and exist without fear of your body collapsing or combusting. Earth's atmosphere is perfectly balanced. 21% oxygen for your lungs, nitrogen to keep things stable, and just the right amount of pressure to prevent your blood from boiling or your lungs from imploding. For 60 seconds, you could laugh, talk, or simply enjoy the luxury of survival without struggle. It's a reminder that our planet is a rare jewel in the cosmic desert, uniquely designed to support life. But don't get too comfortable, because your next stop is Mars, and it will quickly remind you how fragile human life really is outside our home. Mars looks deceptively friendly at first. It has mountains, valleys, ice caps, and even a day length similar to Earth's. You might think you could last here for a while, but the red planet hides lethal dangers. Its atmosphere is over 95 for carbon dioxide, far too thin and toxic for your lungs. Within seconds of trying to breathe, you'd suffocate. Even worse, the pressure on Mars is less than 1% of Earth's, which means your blood and body fluids would start to boil at body temperature. This isn't the dramatic kind of boiling you see in a pot of water. It's a slow, horrifying process called ebullition, where the gases dissolved in your bloodstream form bubbles. Your skin would swell, your saliva would foam, and your eyes would bulge. Consciousness? You'd lose it within 20 seconds. The temperature isn't much friendlier. Mars averages about minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and at night it can drop below minus 150. That kind of cold would start freezing your extremities instantly, turning fingers and toes numb in seconds. On top of that, Mars is infamous for its dust storms, which can grow large enough to cover the entire planet. Imagine being half-conscious, choking in thin air, while being whipped by a storm of red dust moving faster than any hurricane on Earth. Even with sheer luck, lasting 1 full minute here without a pressurized suit is nearly impossible. You'd collapse from lack of oxygen long before the timer hits 60. On Earth, a minute passes without thought. On Mars, those same 60 seconds become a deadly race against suffocation, pressure loss, and freezing cold. Once again, the contrast proves a chilling truth. Beyond our blue planet, survival isn't natural. It's a battle you're destined to lose. Jupiter, Saturn. Now your journey takes you into the realm of the giants. Jupiter and Saturn. These planets aren't like Mercury, Venus, Earth, or Mars. They don't have solid ground where you can land. Instead, they are vast swirling worlds of gas and storms, with crushing atmospheres that get denser the deeper you fall. Trying to survive on them for even 1 minute isn't just impossible, it's a descent into one of the most hostile environments in the universe. Let's begin with Jupiter, the king of the planets. From orbit, it looks mesmerizing with its bands of color and the iconic Great Red Spot, a storm so large it could swallow Earth. But the moment you enter its upper atmosphere, things go bad instantly. There's no oxygen for you to breathe, only hydrogen and helium. You'd suffocate almost instantly. As you plummet downward, the pressure rises rapidly. At just a few miles deep, the air sure would be enough to crush your lungs flat. At greater depths, it would be like sinking into the deepest part of Earth's ocean, but with no submarine to protect you. On top of that, Jupiter's radiation belts are some of the deadliest in the solar system. They would fry your cells, damage your DNA, and overwhelm your nervous system in seconds. Consciousness would fade almost immediately. 60 seconds here? You'd be lucky to last 10. Saturn may appear gentler from a distance, with its stunning rings and golden color, but don't be fooled. Saturn is another gas giant with no solid surface. The moment you enter its atmosphere, you'd face the same lack of breathable air as Jupiter, nothing but hydrogen and helium. As you descend, pressure builds quickly. Your body, designed for Earth's relatively mild atmosphere, would collapse under the crushing weight. The winds on Saturn are also among the fastest in the solar system, reaching up to 1,100 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, that's nearly twice the speed of sound. Imagine being torn apart by winds so violent they could shred steel. Even before the pressure killed you, the storm would. At best, you'd remain alive and conscious for a few seconds before blacking out. Together, Jupiter and Saturn remind us that not all planets are even remotely survivable for humans. These massive worlds are built on scales far beyond our comprehension. For us, a single breath is impossible, a single second is painful, and a single minute is out of the question. Standing on their surfaces isn't an option, because there is no surface. Survival here is not just unlikely, it's fundamentally incompatible with human life. Uranus, Neptune. Leaving the gas giants behind, you now approach the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune. If you thought Jupiter and Saturn were inhospitable, these worlds introduce a new flavor of impossibility: freezing cold, crushing pressure, and winds so violent they redefine the word storm. Surviving 1 minute here is not just a challenge, it's pure science fiction. First comes Uranus, the strangest of them all. Unlike any other planet, Uranus rotates on its side, as though some cosmic accident knocked it over billions of years ago. But the real nightmare is the environment. The planet's atmosphere is a toxic mix of hydrogen, helium, and methane, with absolutely no oxygen to breathe. You'd suffocate instantly the moment you tried to take in a breath. The temperature here plunges to around -370 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than anywhere else in the solar system. Within seconds, the moisture on your skin would crystallize into ice, your lungs would freeze, your body would seize, and hypothermia would overwhelm your nervous system almost immediately. Add to this Uranus's violent winds, which can scream at nearly 560 miles per hour. That's fast enough to hurl debris and rip your body apart long before the 60-second clock runs out. Consciousness wouldn't last more than 15 to 20 seconds. Then comes Neptune, the most distant of the major planets, and arguably the deadliest. From afar, it looks beautiful, a serene blue marble floating in the darkness. Up close, it's a monster. Neptune's atmosphere is dominated by hydrogen, helium, and methane, but the winds are its true weapon. Here, storms roar at speeds over 1,200 miles per hour, faster than the speed of sound. No human body could withstand being struck by winds of that magnitude. You'd be shredded in seconds, your limbs twisted and broken, your body tossed like paper in a hurricane. On top of that, the cold is merciless, averaging -350 degrees Fahrenheit. The pressure too climbs the deeper you fall, eventually crushing your body like a soda can. If Uranus takes your life quickly, Neptune ensures it's violent, chaotic, and utterly unavoidable. Together, Uranus and Neptune are silent executioners on the edge of the solar system. They don't burn you alive like Venus or crush you instantly like Jupiter, but instead freeze, batter, and tear you apart with winds faster than any storm on Earth. Lasting a full minute here isn't just difficult, it's outright impossible. By the time the clock strikes 60, you wouldn't even exist in a form recognizable as human. Pluto wrap-up. Your final destination takes you to the very edge of the solar system, Pluto. Officially reclassified as a dwarf planet, Pluto may be small, but it still offers a lethal environment for anyone foolish enough to attempt survival. Unlike the gas and ice giants, Pluto actually has a solid surface. At first, that might feel reassuring. You can stand, you can walk, but don't let that comfort fool you. The moment you take your first breath, you'll realize the atmosphere is far too thin and made almost entirely of nitrogen, with only traces of methane and carbon monoxide. In other words, there's nothing here for your lungs to use. Suffocation begins instantly. Then comes the cold. Pluto's surface temperature averages -375 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than dry ice. Within seconds, the moisture in your eyes, mouth, and skin would freeze solid. Your breath would crystallize before it even left your lips. Frostbite would set in instantly, turning exposed skin black and brittle. Unlike the gas giants, Pluto's weak gravity means the pressure is so low that your body fluids would also start to boil away. You'd swell, suffocate, and freeze all at once, a horrifying trifecta of death. And yet, of all the planets and dwarf planets you visited, Pluto might give you the longest window of survival. You could stay conscious for perhaps 30 to 40 seconds before blackout, still short of the 60-second challenge, but longer than Venus, Jupiter, or Neptune ever allowed. Now, let's step back and look at the journey as a whole. From Mercury's radiation-baked surface to Neptune's supersonic winds, one thing becomes clear. Earth is the only true sanctuary for human life. Our atmosphere, pressure, temperature, and magnetic field work in perfect harmony to shield us from the horrors of space. Surviving for a single minute on any other world without protection is either impossible or so agonizingly brief that it barely counts as survival at all. This challenge wasn't just an exercise in imagination, it was a reality check. The planets are magnificent, beautiful, and mysterious, but they are not our friends. They are hostile, unforgiving, and utterly incompatible with the human body. When astronauts talk about how precious Earth is, this is what they mean. Our planet isn't just home, it's the only place we can exist without being boiled, frozen, crushed, or shredded. So, after traveling billions of miles and enduring every possible planetary nightmare, the conclusion is simple. You'd never survive 1 minute anywhere but here. Earth isn't just special, it's miraculous. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: instead of dreaming about surviving on alien worlds, maybe we should focus on taking care of the one world where survival is effortless. Because out there, in the cold, dark expanse of space, 1 minute is more than your body could ever hope for.